part of a certain belief system, that belief system doesn't allow you to be an independent thinker. You're always going to have these belief systems clashing. You can't, it's hard to change your mind on certain issues when everything, when they all are tied into your one belief.
Sir, that is true for every single one of us. The law of non-contradiction applies in the East, in the West, to every agnostic, every atheist, every theist. A and non-A cannot both be true in the same way at the same time. The law of non-contradiction. So if you're an atheist, if you're an agnostic, if you're a Christian, if you're a Jew, if you're a hedonist, if you're Hugh Hefner in the playboy philosophy, if you're Shirley MacLaine, we all, when we contradict, obviously, we disagree.
Yeah.
So now, what's your point?
Well, my point is, you're right, but that's with people, with religious people.
No, that's with atheists and agnostics and naturalists and playboys and hedonists and narcissists, materialists, capitalists, Republicans, Democrats. When you make a statement, this is the way it is, that means that which contradicts your statement is wrong.
Okay, if there's an error in my textbook,
yeah,
I can explain to you the error. I can explain to you if it's calculus textbook. I can tell you, oh no, this, I can show you why it's wrong and crunch out some calculations. If on the other, if you go to the Bible and you look at other things like, yeah, how can you argue to me like which ones are right and which ones are wrong? Because you have to take those on faith, whereas like I take things on reason, right?
Wrong.
Okay, then how do you go about deciding which parts of the Bible are right and which ones are wrong?
Well, first of all, we're going to deal with this issue of how do we take things?
Yeah.
You take things as an agnostic on faith.
No.
You have a worldview. Sir, you cannot prove agnosticism. Agnosticism is a faith position.
I'm not trying to prove agnosticism. I'm just saying.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
You can't prove agnosticism. It's impossible. You have faith that agnosticism is an accurate picture of reality. I have faith that Jesus Christ has an accurate picture of reality. We have two faiths. Guess what? Every atheist has faith that their view of reality is correct. They can't prove it. They have faith. Everybody has faith. Now, the question for us thinking human beings who appreciate reason is, here's the question. What is the evidence that your worldview, I don't care if it's atheist, agnostic, Christian, Muslim, what's the evidence that your worldview is accurate? That it tells you the truth about reality? That's the question you guys got to ask. It's a question I got to ask every day. What's the evidence that Jesus Christ's description of reality is correct? What's the evidence that Hugh Hefner's description of the purpose of life is correct? What's the evidence that the capitalist view of reality, that you guys are here for one purpose, to position yourself to get the highest paying job possible? Why? Because the purpose of life is to make money. That's faith, sir. You can't prove that to anybody. So the question is the same question for every Christian, Jew, agnostic, atheist, materialist, hedonist, and that question is, what is the evidence that your worldview is an accurate description of reality?
All right.
It's that simple.
No, that was awesome. Like, I actually
Thank
agree
you.
with everything you said there. You're a good speaker.
Thank
and
you.
that sounds that sounds really nice, but what happens when you get down to practical issues?
It's very, very simple. The question is there a purpose to human sexuality, or is human sexuality a cosmic accident? If human sexuality is a cosmic accident, it doesn't matter what you do sexually. Totally relative, totally subjective. You can have sex with your dog, with 25 women, 50 men, it really doesn't matter, okay? Because it's all relative. But if there is a God who has created our sexuality, and if he created our sexuality for a purpose, then it would behoove every single one of us to find out what is the purpose for which he created our sexuality. That is obviously where Muhammad, the Torah, the Vedas and Upanishads, the New Testament kick in, claiming this is why we have our sexuality. And obviously the Bible insists that God gave us our sexuality for the purpose of one man making a lifelong commitment to one woman, and within that context enjoying sex as a gift from God. To rip sex out of that context is to trivialize yourself, your sex partner. It is to devalue someone and to treat them as a Barbie doll or as a stud. And Jesus Christ says, guess what? People are not Barbie dolls, they're not studs. They're human beings created in the image of God with personality. We can make a commitment to each other, and it's within the context of that lifelong commitment that we're to enjoy sex as a gift from God. Okay, how do you feel if your mother's sleeping around with a bunch of different men?
I probably wouldn't like that, but
why not?
I know she wouldn't do that, and I know my dad wouldn't cheat on her either.
Okay, why are you grateful for that?
Well, that's a really complicated question. I don't want to go off too much.
Really complicated question.
But it creates, like you said, like eventually it does allow for, a greater bond. I do agree with you there, but that's later in their life. They got married when they're 30. I'm still 21. Like, they got married when they're 30, and it's good because they are able to create a stronger emotional bond. And they're able to raise children better. It's more stable. It's a more stable system.
Yep. Good. Now, all of a sudden, I've been fooling around. My fiance's been fooling around with a lot of different sex partners. All of a sudden, we walk down an aisle, and we say, I do. And all of a sudden, we're trying to build a trust relationship, a loyal relationship. But we both know the history of the other, that we really like to play the field. But now we're making a commitment to each other. And now we're trying to trust each other.
Yeah.
See the problem?
Well,
if my history is playing the field, what on earth gives her the confidence that I'm going to stop playing the field?
Well, me personally, I'm probably not going to go for a girl who I've known has played in the field a lot.
Whoa! Oh, baby, I like where this one's going. All right, explain that one.
Booyah.
So you can play the field, but she can't, right? Here we go. Thanks for your honesty, man. That was well put. Because you weren't just speaking for yourself, you were speaking for a lot of guys, obviously. So it's just fine for me to go out and play the field. But when I marry her, she better not be that type of person.
I think the important thing is if you do have an open relationship, then the important thing is just to be honest, to say straight up that, hey, I'm not looking for a close relationship. And if everybody's honest with each other, nothing bad can come out of it. If she's honest with me, nothing can go wrong.
Good. Okay, well, I love the honesty of a student I got to talk to at the University of Florida down in Gainesville. This guy steps out of the crowd and he says, now, Cliff, you got to understand, I really love my girlfriend. She really loves me. We're not married. We have sex all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. I said, well, man, it's outstanding to hear that you really love her. Tell me about it. He waxed poetic for a couple of minutes. I interrupted him and said, one question. Tonight she's involved in a car accident and her beautiful face and her beautiful body is totally rearranged and scarred by the car wreck. Will you still love her tomorrow? And the guy was brutally honest. He said, no way, man. If her face is totally rearranged in a car wreck tonight, I'm going to ditch her and go out and get some other fox. I said, okay, now let me ask you a second question. Does your girlfriend really love you? He said, oh yeah, man, she really does. I said, tell me about it. He waxed poetic for a minute. I interrupted him and said, now, tonight you are involved in a car wreck, sir. Your handsome face is totally scarred. Your body is totally rearranged. Is she still going to love you tomorrow? And the dude said, yeah. I said, okay, my man, according to Jesus Christ, she's ready to make a lifelong commitment to you, to really love you, which is not just infatuation. It's not just excitement. It's not just convenience. She is ready to love you, to seek your highest good, to give herself to you, and to make a lifelong commitment. But you, my man, are just using her.